My name's Miah and this is my seminar.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Kind of the main principles what I want to look at today is breaking our opponent down to the pretty much weakest position all the time, like to the most unathletic position. So we're going to work some wrestling from the feet. You guys compete mainly sub-grappling or MMA? Mostly grappling for MMA, yeah. So what we're kind of look at some basic takedowns. You've probably done similar bits with kind of some of the other guys who've been in. I know Owen's been in and Jordan's been in, but then it's also looking then, once we've got the guy down, break him, like I'm saying, I'm a big believer in breaking him down to the most unathletic position. So we're going to look at sort of like a single leg body lock, front headlock series. And then we're going to look at when we hit the ground, sort of a go behind and turtle breakdown series from those positions. So essentially rather than, and then you can, what I let our guys do, our club is then they can add in the fittings to the things that they like to do. So if you like to take the back, great, but maybe do it from a less, where the person has a less athletic position, vice versa. If you want to like to tap the neck, again, it's to do it from a position where they're broken down rather than in a super, if you like jumping on someone's back when someone's standing and they have the hand into position, you see it over and over again, people fall off. So it's all about really bringing someone down to the ground, making them in a bad position and then starting to get our attacks going, especially for MMA, rather than like you see it all the time, people will jump on the back, where someone's maybe tripoded, they fall off, then they're on bottom position. So it's trying to kind of get out of them kind of habits and work on breaking our opponent down before we go into any of our chains. Then you guys do what you like to do once you're in certain positions. So if you like to seep out. If you like to break down, chuck a hook in, whatever it is you guys like to do with sort of your main attacks, it's sort of how to get the person into those compromised positions first. That makes sense? So we'll do a quick warm up and then we'll get into it, okay?
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chatting the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking.
What I want us to look at doing, again, most of the time is putting our opponent into a disadvantaged position. So even when we're taking a single word, we're going, I always give an analogy, like if we're going off tie-ups, we'll usually look to shift the weight in some way onto our partner's back leg. So this leg's now quite light because the weight's on the back leg, right? In MMA, obviously we're in strike, so I can use my right hand to do the same thing to get a reaction. So that leg becomes light. It can be very difficult if someone's heavy on that leg and they can put the weight into it to take a single and pick it up easily. So we can just be in our striking stance. We've got a double jab overhand, and we're going to take an outside step. So if you all love that, your left leg, yes, that makes it easy. So we'll double jab, then take an outside, try our right hand, take an outside step, and our head's going to go in the ribs. Here, left to left, okay? And run our snatch single, you can do a gable grip, or you can take a false grip, which is just a wrist over wrist. And then we're looking at elbows in and head up. Once we've got the leg, I just want you to walk your feet. So rather than like striking and shuffling, once we've actually got the leg, we're going to walk with the leg, okay? So, move, double grab. Overhand, that's going to generally shift the weight onto that back leg a little bit. And take an outside step, so my back leg's going to step through, and my head's going to make contact with his rib cage, okay? Collect the leg. Just walk. Okay. Look, if you've got longer arms, you tend to like a false grip. If you've got little short arms, some people get on with a gable grip. Either way, looking to get little T-Rex arms after, okay? One more time. Okay guys, let's just get warmed up with that and then we'll add on, right? But if I'm going to open, I want to continue that momentum that we've weights on the back foot. So what will often happen is Lewis just grabs my leg and his head's on the inside here. It's very difficult for him to actually get any kind of momentum pushing you backwards. He can, but he's kind of driving sideways with his head. On initial contact, it will jam his head up. If he shoots a single on me and I bump him and he hits with the side of the head, you see it's going to cause like this kind of action. So you tend to get them stingers in your neck. Yeah. So when I make contact, I almost want to be packed. So like, I imagine I've got a horn on the top of my head when I make contact with ribs. Then, if I want to get a slight angle and start sort of get cut in an angle with my feet, then it makes a little bit more sense. So when I make that initial contact, even if I'm doing no gi and cleared like grips or whatever, I've used the tie, when I take that contact from here,
okay, forward.
just in there, that's going to let me drive and push his weight back.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to, I'm a lot stronger packing my here than I'm trying to push with the side of my head. So then, if you like that side on angle, I know some people like to take a single and get side on straight away to sort of stop them weaving the leg out and things like that. What I would always do then is make contact here. Then if I want to switch and you like playing from this angle, that's okay. The only thing with being side on is it only lets me go one way on a single.
Okay.
So if I'm side on, I'm like, this isn't a bad single position, but we would agree it's pretty much impossible for me to get my head out to this side. So it leaves me with single leg. If he takes his leg to the outside, double leg knee tap, body lock. If I'm here and I have balance, it's very easy to be able to get my head to the outside. So it's not right or wrong, but it's just that if you do just put your head on the inside, you're limiting with certain options, and we are going to look at some rear body lock stuff after.
Yeah.
So just try and keep that central position level.
So the first point of contact has to be with the forehead.
Sort of forehead, crown of the head, yeah, to keep moving back. And then if you want to change up, you can. It's just obviously then knowing what your drawbacks and positives are from it. Okay, give that a go.
With the boys, man so tough, but mines keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch man, please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the. Wake up, get out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west, I take on the east. I'm a
Body and front headlock, which is a series that I really like. They did this at ATT, and it was just a way that you can just chain wrestle on the same side. So we'll do the same thing. I'm going to take the single leg, and then what I'm going to do is just look to pull my partner back. So I'm going to walk backwards and climb to body lock. Okay. Generally, when we want to, and especially in MMA, I always give the best analogy I give, like Ronda Rousey, obviously had phenomenal judo, upper body ties. It can be very easy for someone in MMA to disengage from upper body ties. For example, Tom last night was a great example. Tom fought Greco-Roman. He was silver or bronze medalist, and every time the guy caught to upper body clinch, Tom had defence, and it was quite easy to disengage. I always say if Ronda would have shot my legs to build up to upper body ties, it would have given her a better chance to attack, especially people with Holm who was just running and trying to grab upper body. So using the snatch single to then change the upper body, we want to create a situation where our partner brings their arms up. So what I mean is, if Luke is on a single leg on me, and he doesn't move me, it's very easy to keep in top position, and then you're never really going to end up on my body lock, because you're not getting opening up the space. So when we take a single, we always want to be looking for an off balance to then go to body lock. So what we're going to look to do, just one of the series, many things, you can run the pipe, do all the other things you want to do. We're just going to do a little snatch, walking backwards, to create that little off balance, to bring his elbows out. We're just going to let us climb to our body lock, okay? So again, same thing. I'm looking to pull in, okay? When we take our body lock, again, I like a false grip. So I like, here's okay if you're shorter arm. If you're a bit longer arm, I like going wrist to wrist, so false grip. We're looking to squeeze him, we're looking to pinch our knees, and then again, it comes down and we're looking to put him in an unathletic position. So we want to ideally put his shoulder behind his hip. When our partner's on a whizzer and we're body locking, he's usually going to want to drop his shoulder forward for those overhook throws, each mark moves, things of that nature. So we want to create the opposite spectrum where we would agree Lewis isn't very athletic here. Okay? So when we've gone from single and we've gone body lock, I want to put him in the most unathletic position here. So my knees are pinching, we have a tight body lock and a tight head position here. Okay? Here. Wrist to wrist, knees pinching, tilt back. All we're going to do from here is just a nice easy finish. Going to replace our feet, so my left foot's going to go where my right foot is. I'm just going to sit him down. From an MMA perspective, what usually happens here, whenever we score takedowns, is guys don't settle. We're going to post, usually on the flank. We can start going into sort of, again, prescribed positions. So that he'll be kind of style ground and pound from here. But again, what you do from here will be a bit individual to your grappling style. So what a jiu-jitsu guy might do is turtle and try and invert. Maybe that's where you take the back, sort of most back takes in jiu-jitsu come from someone turtling and trying to not get the guard pass. MMA, they're probably going to look to hoist and start getting to forearms and try and get height and start hoisting back to the feet. So what you kind of do on the ground, play with what you guys would normally do and give like whatever reaction you want. It's more about the takedown, okay? So we're looking at this. Knees are bent, we're in sort of a quarter squat. We have our grip where we want to make sure these grips are tight, so we squeeze tight. Head creates an arch in the back, and then we're going to replace our feet. Sit our partner down. Okay. What your partner does from here will probably be completely dependent on what sport they're playing. The MMA guys are probably going to hoist, jiu-jitsu guys are probably going to look to start turning in, regaining some kind of guard. Okay.
Do you like to do in that position?
Because most of the guys I train with, even when I do jiu-jitsu a lot of the time, MMA fighters, because we're obviously at Renegade in the sessions, what would generally happen is they'll start trying to post, so I'll go into a wrist ride and show you, so I do the same thing again. We start posting on this, so I like to start passing the wrist, collapsing the shoulder, and actually stepping into like a half guard, so a wrist ride position to ground and pound. I know when I roll with like straight jiu-jitsu guys, when they land, they might try and turn towards me a lot more and start trying to get in some kind of retention. So, because of the kind of guys I roll with, I tend to get kind of like wrist rides a lot from that position when I get taken down. Okay? Okay.
I'm in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls, let her tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, please use caution. Beg, please get on your knees, came from the jungle, up in the trees. I got a few tricks up in the sleeve, one wrong move, I'ma let out the big shoes, check.
To give up the neck, or to give up the back, to get up. You kind of either have to turtle and start to fight hands, stand up, ground beat, all those kinds of things, or you have to start cutting back in with an underhook, front headlock, and kind of fighting out those positions. So they're actually the positions we're going to be working on anyway to break down from. So what we'll do next, guys, so kind of the series I always have in my head, we have our, obviously I'm trying to stick to more upper body stuff, and I'll take that today, but we have our single, we can obviously chain off to lifting the leg, chain off to double legs, chain off to different single kind of finishes on the legs. But we're going to go same from this body lock again, and we're going to look at a front headlock from here now as well. And then after that we're going to look at rear body lock. Now, when we take our initial body lock, the rear body lock becomes, or even the single becomes dependent on what he does with this arm a lot of the time. Obviously if he's lazy with it, and I know you coach guys, well generally you're going to go whizzing on wrist. A lot of guys don't, and you see it a lot, the mistake of where you'll get your head to the outside. So we're going to look at that next, but first we're going to look at snapping to a front headlock from the same sort of series. So we obviously want our hips close when we body lock, so we want our hips close, head position close. Our partner wants the reverse, so for him to start countering our body lock series, he's usually going to step his leg back and have his hips back. If we want to do this to him, if he steps his leg back, what happens is his weight comes forward. So now where's his head? Forward, right? So what has it allowed us to do? Snap him down. If he was here, would we try and, no, you've all done no-gi with a guy trying to collar tie, and the guy's like this, standing upright, and you're still trying to snap him down, and it never works, but his legs and hips are there, right? So it's trying to use level changes to just vary between them and get ahead of your partner. So if you're on a single body lock, front headlock, vice versa, if I'm trying to snap someone down and he is very stiff, well there's my single. So it kind of all chains together on that tier, okay? So we're doing exactly the same entry, we're going to take our body lock grip, our partner's going to step their leg back then, okay? So here, see now he step that leg back. What I'm going to look to do, so come in a bit, just bring that leg in. So when I am here and I'm in good position, a good thing for my partner here to do is to try and free his leg back and step here. So now I can throw him from here and do like a hip in throw, but for the sake of today, we're going to bring our tight waist hand up to the trap and our other hand on the back of the neck. Now from an MMA perspective, obviously we have loads of strikes we can add. What I'm going to look to do is cross snap. So I'm going to look to snap him down, circle, we'll just come back a bit away from the cage. I'm going to circle in this direction. I'm going to use this to guide him to my chin strap on the opposite side, So from here then, we're snapping into this position in the front headlock. Now, this is the first stage of what I kind of want to talk through, is in on the ground, is in tripod up. This is a better position for me to front headlock than him being just standing, but we'd much rather have him on his knees and elbows from an athletic standpoint. And this is kind of the same that we're going to look at from Turtle. When he's up right here, put him there. He's quite athletic, especially walk your hands back, so I'm going to slip off the back a little bit more. We want to break our partner down continually to their least athletic position and then start our attack series or go behinds. He's still got a lot of movement to turn and face. He can walk, if I go left, he can follow with his feet. So he's very mobile, which makes scrambles hard. Usually then, if he's athletic, we have a very, very hard time. Does that make sense? So, but we're going to snap into that position first and then look at some series of breaking down from that position, okay? So we'll do a couple. Here, we're going inside elbows tight, so elbows are inside tight, taking a chin strap and a grip on the arm, okay? We don't want our grip too low and we don't want it too high, just kind of on the elbow crook or just above, okay? We're just going to go here, keep weight on our partner.
So all the tricep?
Yeah, anywhere sort of here. Don't want to be here because they might limp out the arm. I don't want to be too high because I'm never going to be able to collapse an arm in structurally. If he puts his arm straight out, if I tried to push him down here, he'd be quite strong. Vice versa, I could push him here, but he'd loop his arm out a lot of the time. So if we're kind of here, we're still going to be able to break an arm down. Obviously we're doing it from the bottom, but we're going to be able to break him down from here. But not slip off anything, okay? So, show one more, so we'll circle just a little bit here. So from here, once this padlock's gone, our outside hand comes top to the trap. So we've locked the trap, our other grip comes as a cross grip on the neck. Okay. What I'm not a big fan of people doing a lot of the time is the start, especially if you guillotine with this hand, people like start reaching and you start getting ducks happening. So always really want to be fighting from like these frames and snapping him and getting over him first, rather than sort of, I never really like attacking reaching movements, especially in MMA with gloves on, especially, again, everything's just dictated by rules. So like amateur MMA, you've also got bumpers on, which is like even harder to hit guillotines and things from. So like for that rule set, which is what most of the guys I coach are, so amateur fighters, things like this. No-gi people might get away and jump guard, but in MMA this is going to be a real bad idea to do, and even more so in amateur. So we're trying to get over our partner, but look here, and I never really give up position. So as a circle, a cross snap to this hand, here, and then elbows are inside, grip on the side, okay? One more time.
Stepping back as you do.
Yeah, I want to, just come forward, I want to almost circle, if I've got this and this, I almost want to circle him down, rather than taking that out, circle slightly this way, so I'm sort of stepping round at an angle, to circling, like a semicircle into the corner, where he doesn't really have a base, because I have this hand, I have this shoulder, so we would agree that where this shoulder is, he doesn't have a base of support.
So that's what you.
So when I'm moving, because I've got this block, I'm moving to here. So, and we're here. That okay, yeah? Let's give that a go.
Crease, blow like I'm Bigfoot, step on the beat. Make a man's run till he step out the cleats. When the whole place scream, gotta get out the. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but man's keep walking. Yeah, dressed too sharp with the prize. White girls, let her tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan.
When we get to this front headlock position, probably be a bit more angled up, right? Walk your hands back over more, so this is your head first. Yeah, so probably like to be here.